Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry. We were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Another world, another life.
Driftwood the Musical, based on the best-selling memoir, tells the incredible true story of one family's miraculous escape from Nazi Germany. Critics describe it as mesmerising, sublime, and stunningly crafted. Our world premiere season sold out. Don't miss out. Book tickets now for the May and June seasons at driftwiththemusical.com.au.
In the spirit of reconciliation, the Theatre Thoughts podcast acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all traditional custodians of the land on which our episodes are recorded.
Because I remember when it was the callbacks for the audition and Bethany was like, how long do you need to learn your lines? And I'm like, give me 3 days. Give me 3 days. I'm professional now. And then I think the audition was like on Friday or something. And then I got the call on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. And I remember I just saw Laura and I'm like, fuck. Hello. And she's like, hey. I'm like, what do you want? She's like, congratulations, you got it. And I was like, what? Thank you so much. And I remember I called my boss. I'm like, I need to learn my lines. I have a week. I'm like, I lied to them. I said I can do it in 3 days.
You're listening to the Theatre Thoughts podcast. If you're a new listener, welcome to the podcast. If you're one of our returning listeners, welcome back to a brand new episode. You can watch a snippet of this week's episode via our YouTube channel or subscribe to our Patreon for $5 a month to get access to the full video, a patron shout-out and earlier access to our episodes. Or if you're stretched on a budget, become a supporter for as little as $3 a month. If you're a fan of the podcast, please leave us a review wherever you're listening from. Share us on your socials, tell your friends at the theatre, stop to tell a stranger on the street, or just be that annoying friend who shares all the best recommendations. You can find all of our content via our Instagram channel at ttpod_official or by following the link in this episode's description. So switch on those thoughts and be sure to subscribe to catch all our new content in 2023. Welcome everyone to a new episode of the Theatre Thoughts podcast. I'm here with two amazing guests today to talk about their new show, The Culture, which has been all over the world. It's been to Broadway, Wellington, and now in Sydney. We have a performer who I'm trying to place in my memory, but we got there, I think, in the end. She is a writer and a performer with a passion for strong female narratives. Her work speaks for women's experiences in the modern world and explores street harassment, domestic violence, online privacy, and fertility. We also have a bilingual Jordanian, Palestinian, Australian, multidisciplinary artist, try saying that 5 times fast, based in Western Sydney. His passion for his career is to create more opportunities to diversify the Australian arts industry and to break barriers for the LGBTQIA plus community and people of colour. Please welcome Laura Jackson and Mina Asfour.
Hello.
Welcome. Please, I'm so glad for you to come in and talk about your show.
Absolutely. It's exciting to be here.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And so Laura, we were trying to place each other before the podcast started about where we knew each other. It was all the way back in Wollongong.
That's right. I mean, obviously we're getting old because we can't actually remember, but we know that it was when we were in Wollongong and when we were young and budding and, exciting, emerging.
And now here we are at the Powerhouse.
That's right, exactly.
So your show, The Culture, has been all over the world. So Laura, you wrote The Culture.
Yeah, I did. And it's had a pretty exciting journey so far, which has been awesome because there was a previous version of The Culture that I actually did back in Wollongong in 2015. And it was a kind of, now I reflect on it, just like a workshop version because compared to the script now, it's really drastically changed.
Yeah.
But to finally get to, have this international tour going and to have spent the time on the rewrite to get it to the strength of this version has been really awesome. But that initial version came to me around the time that Rosie Batty was Australian of the Year, and she was talking about her experience, obviously the devastating story of her husband killing her son, and that she was an unlikely victim in that she's very well spoken, she's highly educated, and people listen to her. And she acknowledged the flaws in the fact that was why people listened, but she also acknowledged her platform. And I think a lot of that informed the character of Katie, which is a character that I play, because she falls into this toxic relationship, but you don't expect her to be the one who falls prey to that sort of guy because she is quite outspoken, quite, bright and bubbly, and we have a stigma in terms of the image of what we think a woman who gets into a domestic violence relationship looks like. We have this, we don't think about the fact that actually it transcends race and class and age. It's something that 1 in 3 women experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very prevalent as well at the moment.
That's right.
Exactly. So, I'll say the bio of the show just so we get a bit of context. So, it says, Katie's cheeky, brave and sensitive. Will is witty and warm with a huge heart, which I'm assuming is your character. Mm-hmm. They're single and maybe a little bit codependent. Together they host a podcast. Great. Mm-hmm. Don't even get me started where they bitch about the fact that they're straight up done. When they're home together, they're safe, they're happy, no one can hurt them. They have everything they need, almost. I like it. Very good. So, Mina, tell me about your involvement with the show.
Yeah, pretty cut and paste. I auditioned for the show. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then did a call back. I thought I did well. And then I got the gig. And here I am.
Riveting. That's great.
No, but I remember reading the script and I was like, is she a stalker? Because I was like, it was very similar to just my life and the way that I speak.
Okay.
And a lot of the time when I was learning my lines, I'm like, that's not the line. Never mind. I'll go back. I'm like, no, it is the line. I'm just making things up in my head, but it's literally the line. So it was very similar to the way I naturally speak. So when I learnt my lines, it was a very easy transition.
Yeah.
I felt. And yeah, it's been great. I'm loving it.
Yeah. But you weren't on the Broadway leg.
No.
So you've been on the Wellington leg.
Wellington, Adelaide, and next week, Hobart, Sydney, then Melbourne.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All the good stops.
That's right.
So was it always your dream to take it to Broadway?
Yeah, I met this really great director at NIDA. She only came to work with us, I think, for a week, maybe 2, but I think a week. Anyway, I fell in love with her. I just really, really liked her approach. I felt like she got the best out of me. Sometimes I don't know. I've worked with directors who I think, you make me great. And then directors who I think, in front of you, you don't think I'm good and therefore I'm not. It becomes self-fulfilling. Yeah. Anyway, so we really connected. She was just there for that short time. She was from New York. She went home. And then COVID struck and, the whole industry was on its knees and I was kind of looking for ways to remain creative. And I was looking for some online classes and I thought of her and I thought, I wonder if she's offering classes and I could do them with her. And now the world of online classes really shifted.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where
definitely.
you are. And so I reached out to her and yes, she was offering classes in this. She's a Michael Chekhov teacher. So,
God, Chekhov.
Yeah, love that. And she was offering these Michael Chekhov classes. So I started working with her more regularly, and I really enjoyed that. And then I just asked if she would read a copy of the play, the previous version, the one from 2015. And she read it and she thought it had, potential. And so then this wasn't even in the kind of seriously I would do it with her directing it. It was just she was a mentor. I wanted her to read it. I thought, she'd be fantastic to direct it. But then we did a few Zoom readings with a few different actors playing the role of Will. And the previous version was quite didactic and kind of... The podcast has come in place of what used to be these direct address monologues to the audience, where they would tell they'd tell their stories, but because they were so because of that, the style, they did feel a little bit on the nose. Right, and now that those same stories have been shifted into a podcast form, it's much more about the banter between the two characters, and they can still tell those stories, but with an increased sense of warmth and friendship. So we then did a few, as I said, Zoom readings, and I got a few mentors to have a listen, got some feedback. Then I worked with, it was important to me because I'm a straight woman and Will is a gay character, to get some advice to build the authenticity into his character. And so this director, her name's Bethany Caputo, she's a proud lesbian woman. She brought some, mentorship in that space, but then also we brought on a dramaturg who happened to be my master's writing mentor.
Oh, cool.
Catherine Farga, but she's also proudly lesbian woman. And so they were able to, them combined with the number of actors who read that part, were able to kind of help me shape it and mold it and pick up where I thought I was making jokes that were a bit, dumb or whatever. They were able to help me to make it feel just more authentic and researched. Anyway, and then that was sort of just bit by bit, the script started to grow, and then I just said, hey, if I brought it to you, would you direct it? She was like, you're not going to bring it to me kind of way. And then a friend of mine was getting married in the States, so we were going anyway. Both my husband and I were in the groom's party, bridal party, so we were going. And so I said, if I tack it on to the end of my trip, can we make it happen? And she said yes. So that's great. We just kind of found a little theatre and hired it and
out on Broadway.
That's right. Yeah.
The Great White Way.
That's right, exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Not many people can claim that, so massive props to you.
Yeah, thank you. It was really great to just go, and then after all that time as well, we'd been working so much on Zoom. When we finally got the room together, we were all just, it was pretty awesome. We had 2 weeks of rehearsal, finally got to be in the room together, and then we did the show. And then she continued on as the director when Mina came on. So we worked with her via Zoom.
Okay.
For 2 weeks. So we need to find a way to get you and Bethany in the same room together, because she helped to bring Mina into this. We had a framework, but Mina brought his own fantastic instincts and character. So then it shifted really dramatically, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's been great both ways, but I've really loved. It's kept me fresh and kept me, working.
Well, how have you found working with Laura as both actor and playwright?
I found. Look, it had its benefits just because when we were in the room and they were very... Ow, I just bit my tongue, of course I did. There were very specific things that I was doing. And it was like, oh no, we're not doing that. I'm like, but why? And she'll be like, well, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And then we'll continue on. It did not help that I'm like severely dyslexic. Yeah. So I would just like read sentences. I'm like, yeah, that's correct. And Laura's like, Mina, baby boy. That's not how you say the word. I'm like, it is. I know how to read. She's like, no. Let's read it again. I'm like, you are right.
So what he's saying is that I was a pain in the ass.
No, but you were actually fine on it. Like I preferred that. I remember like the first few rehearsals. You were like, hey man, let's talk. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And you're like, X, Y, Z. I'm like, tell me all this from now. So then I don't want a few months in. It's like, hey,
yeah, of course.
There's an issue. I'm like, please don't think like you're like I am the most resilient person in the world. Like, tell me everything now. This is nothing.
Yeah.
But rehearsals were fun. I thought it was going to be the biggest drag just because it was over Zoom. I remember getting in like, okay, let's go. It was so easy. I enjoyed it. Maybe it was just Bethany's energy, but I found it very easy.
Yeah.
And fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, one of the things I like about her is that she sees things I wrote it, but she sees things in the script that I don't even see.
That's
so
great.
She's got a really innate sense of human nature, and in a way that is surprising. As in, there might be a way, a scene where the obvious thing is that they yell at each other or whatever, and she'll say, well, actually, why don't you try it like this? And then you realize, oh, that's so much more human to do it that's not really very well explained, but she has this real understanding of the depth of the way humans interact.
Right, yeah.
Which I really love.
Yeah.
And I felt like it helped us to kind of, find freedom within not being too bound by what the script said, even though I'm the writer, so I had
and
a
you weren't
protection
like
over
too
the
attached to that.
Oh, I'm sure I was annoying with Mina being like, this is the line, but he also came to rehearsals with the lines learned. He was amazing. He came, we did the whole thing in with Bethany in 2 weeks, and then we had a couple of rehearsals kind of to tweak it for each city, and then Carly has taken over as the tour director, so she's helped us to take it and rework it for each venue. And so we had a couple more rehearsals with Carly, but we really got the whole thing together in as far as bringing Mina on board in 3 weeks. So that was awesome to kind of, it was 3 solid weeks, but
I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
That's cool.
Because I remember when it was the callbacks for the audition, and Bethany was like, how long do you need to learn your lines? And I'm like, give me 3 days. Give me 3 days. I'm professional now. And then I think the audition was like on Friday or something. And then I got the call on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. And I remember I just saw Laura and I'm like, fuck. Hello. And she's like, hey. I'm like, what do you want? She's like, congratulations, you got it. And I was like, thank you so much. And I remember I called my boss. I'm like, I need to learn my lines. I have a week. I'm like, I lied to them. I said I can do it in 3 days. I remember I got sick the next day. And I remember in bed, like, I'm not even kidding, bawling my eyes. I'm like, I'm so unprofessional. I said I can get it done in 3 days. I only have a week. I can't do it. Because in my mind, I was like, yeah, it's a play. I can do it. Yeah. Easy. And then I'm like, and then my inner monologue was like, Mina, it's a 2-hander show. And you're on stage the whole time. You can't go backstage and look at your script. Be like, oh, yeah, that's my next thing. No, you're on stage the whole time. And I just freaked myself out. I'm like, you need to learn your lines. I just cancelled work. I remember sitting at a cafe for 6 hours, just ordering a coffee an hour. Being like, scene 1 to 10, done. See, and then there was like, I'm pretty sure there's like 2 scenes where you just have a monologue, like the live stream ones, and I'm like, haha, funny, amazing. Now I skip 2 scenes, done. But no,
you could do that whole thing that they did on Friends, where they hide lines in like the fruit on the table, and stuff like that. Just
I wish.
What is this?
What is this? Line. No, but yeah, I mean it worked. I did promise lines learned. And I learnt them, so
props to you.
Yeah. But then I think, you mentioned it's a 2-hander, it's just us. But because of that, we know, okay, if someone dries, it's the other one is there to help. We'll save each other. We've just sort of been saying to you, I'll save you, you save me. No matter what happens, we've got each other's backs. And we've got this little pre-show kind of routine where we've been saying, got your back. And Mina does this little, okay, I think you need to tell her.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay, there's lore to this. So, in the Arabic pop star world, there's a woman called Haifa. Haifa Wafi. She came on the scene like early 2000s. We love her. the Arabic world hates her because like she's just hot and sexy.
Oh, okay.
I don't like. I have. That's the only explanation why they don't like her.
Yeah.
She's a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Anyway, she's like 51 years old now. Wow. When I tell you she looks nothing over a day over 21, I wish I was kidding.
That's insane.
She looks nothing over 21, and everyone still hates her. And she's still like on top of the game.
Yeah.
So we just our pre-show ritual is just I hold our hands. We hold each other's hands. We're like, we are Haifa. And they are peasants. And then while we were on tour, it was her birthday.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's her birthday. And then literally the next day, I'm like, it was her birthday yesterday. And then the day after that, it was her birthday 2 days ago. And it just kept on going. It's like, it was her birthday this week. We got the energy.
And then we'd finish off with a little superhero pose. And
then we'd run on stage and do the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so... I love that. I love a good pre-show ritual.
Yeah, totally.
The Theatre Thoughts podcast is proud to be hosting Meraki Arts Bar Main Stage's first post-show Q&A. Join us for a special event after the performance of Expiration Date on Tuesday the 2nd of May. See the awesome production and stick around afterwards for an exclusive Q&A recording with the cast and creative team. For full information and to book tickets to the Tuesday the 2nd of May production, check the show notes. Well, I want to take it back way back to where you guys started. So I'd like to know what sort of inspired you both to start your careers. Like, was there a moment, or was this like something you've always wanted to do with your lives?
Yeah. Well, I was in the choir girl, like all through Australian Girls Choir. That was me. Playing.
You went on the Qantas commercial.
My voice was.
There you go.
The first one.
It's only because I was listening to Mel and Sam podcast, and I think Mel talked about being on like the Qantas thing. So it's in my mind recently.
Totally.
It's like every person who did choir was probably on that ad.
That's right. Obviously, that was my first brush with fame.
Still on your CV.
Played musical instruments, that sort of thing. School musicals, and never did any dancing, which I regret now. But then who has time when I was playing, flute and piano and choir and whatever? There's only so much childhood hours.
And you also have to give everyone else a chance.
Exactly. I mean,
come on now, you can't do everything. You can't do it.
Yeah, obviously out of kindness.
They're trying to keep you humble. It's just
cool. Yeah. So then I went to Wollongong Uni to do the performing degree, and that was great. But that was great. Doesn't need great, but that was great. And I was ready to party and not ready to study. Yeah. So I went to Wollongong and just didn't properly absorb all that drama school has to offer. I was just, really finding myself, dating boys and living out of home and, doing all of that stuff. And then did my Masters of Creative Arts. That's when I wrote my first play.
Right.
And that has started a different trajectory for me that has been great, because I realised, oh wow, if I write the thing, I get the role. Interesting.
In there.
Yeah, exactly. And I can write the role that I want to perform. And then toured that. That was a one-woman show. I toured that a bit. Wrote the first version of The Culture and had a few bookings for that, and was also running a musical theatre company, Aspiring Musical Theatre Company, which was one of our Wollongong, things at the time. It was great. Yes, that's where we met.
Oh, you got it. It's clicked in your brain, Marty.
There you go. Yes. Yeah.
Ah.
That is Marty, our producer at Theatre Thoughts. He's finally clicked how he knows.
Yes, turns out we all have a deep, deep history. So that was just like kind of a fun little collective, about 18, 20 people that we would put on cabarets together and bring people in to do masterclasses.
Right, yeah.
All going like swimmingly well. And then I was auditioning for NIDA all the way through. I auditioned for NIDA 4 years in a row, and then kept getting down to the shortlist, but not getting, I got to the last callback shortlist and then not getting in.
How dare they?
I know. I mean, but I had to give other people a chance.
Exactly.
Again.
Of course.
Exactly.
So,
Stay humble.
obviously, exactly. So then the fourth year, I had a bunch of bookings for the plays. The, musical theatre company was rolling along, and I was like, oh, I'll just audition. But I've got a lot going on. I don't need to go to NIDA. Anyway, then I got in.
It's literally always like
always
that.
Like that. So then I had to cancel the shows and disband the theatre company, and went to NIDA, and that was awesome. the difference was that I was older, ready to learn, and I took it all in and soaked it all up, and have an awesome group of friends from NIDA, which has been great. That's probably one of the best things is the cohort, and some of the guest teachers were really, really special, like Bethany, who I then, you know, carried on to work with after. And then really a couple of quiet years with, you know, graduating, being a little baby in the industry again, and then, of course, COVID, and then I had a baby, so pregnancy baby. Thank you. Yeah, it was all kind of just slowed things down as far as the acting, but gave me time as far as the writing. Yeah. And, and in that time, I kind of wrote in a few genres, rewrite for the culture, but then also working on a novel and kids' books and kind of just broadly writing, which has been awesome.
You know, as you do.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, sorry, I've got a couple of things I do. Because I can't dance. So, obviously if I was dancing. And then so that sort of got me here. So there's been a lot of study and a lot of learning, and I'm still finding my feet in terms of the, you know, the professional work. Like I've done a few ads, but really and that's all. Do you know what I mean? Really it's the self-produced, the play and this kind of work that has been the real vehicle for my career, you know, because around everything else, it's the thing that I have control over, whereas some of those other things, you know, are very much in other people's hands. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's my story. I probably said it all really fast, and who knows if you got any of it.
What about you?
Slow down the footage.
What about yourself?
I always wanted to be a singer when I was younger.
Okay.
And I loved singing, and then my voice started to crack as puberty does, and I was like, I can never sing a day in my life again. I still do sing, and I write my own music, but I really fell in love with acting in my teenage years, and I was that delusional person, like, when I'm 18, I'm going to be famous, and I'm going to make it, and y'all watch and see, and yada, 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 yada. Then life hit me. But no, I graduated high school, and I was like, you know what, like, Mina, time to take this seriously and do all the things you want to do. Like one of my main mantras is like, Mina, you don't want to wake up when you're in your 50s and 60s. Like, what if you did this? What if you did that? So just do everything. Do everything you can. So I remember doing a lot of extra work because I thought that, I'll do extra work, and then from there it will lead me to blah, 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 and then blah, 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 blah. That's obviously not how the industry works when you just learn the hard way. And I remember just doing a lot of short courses, getting a lot of teachers, and doing really well in the short courses. And a lot of my teachers would be like, Mina, you're great. You're amazing. You're just very specific.
Oh, okay.
That was literally every single point from every single teacher. Mina, you're doing amazing. You learn all your lines. You do amazing choices. You're giving us range. You're taking risks, yada, yada, yada. Why am I not working? You're too specific.
Right.
So I said, okay. So then when I did start booking things, it was very much, I hate to say, just stereotypical Arab.
Right.
Moe from Bankstown.
What
are you looking at, boy? That was the voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very much that. And then just with the lack of work, I just needed to make sure, like, Mina, if you do want to work, you have to make sure you are going above and beyond compared to everyone else. So that's what I did. I just made sure I had good headshots, made sure my CV was professional and fresh and up to date, made sure all my casting profiles were on point. So then when an audition would come, and there's only 5 of us in Sydney, I'm the top 3.
Right.
Because I have stuff to give them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I come from a very screen background. And then, weave it into a lot of theatre work. And then this is my first big theatre thing.
That's great.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because my partner was like, you should get into theatre. I'm like, okay. And then a few months later, I'm like, I just booked a Broadway tour. So.
Well, you did tell me, so congratulations.
Thank you. But a lot of screen. I come from a very much screen background, which so I found it not difficult, but just different, especially when it did come to rehearsals. Just like, Mina, you're so quiet. And I'm like, I'm trying. Like, my inner monologue was like, Mina, you're very quiet. Speak up. I'm like, okay, I'm speaking. I'm speaking up. Just like turning, because I'm very much just by default, like the camera's there, my lighting's here.
Yeah.
Just particular angles. And I worked really well in that medium. So it was just a bit of a stretch for me to do theatre. And I felt like I just became muscle memory now. I think I'm doing it well.
You are.
I could be delusional.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
There are things, aren't there that are just the opposite. Like screen, you've got to be really close to each other physically. And theatre, you kind of have to be the opposite.
Yeah, definitely.
And So we would, those things when you're used to one that you have to adjust to the other.
Exactly.
But, the great thing is you have always been kind of flexible and open to shifting, And as, it's not like I was already there doing everything perfectly. We were working everything out together, you know what I mean? And so, and that's the joy of theatre, is that it is live and you've got to work it out together.
Yeah,
and,
it's the best thing about it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the big things. I was like, what if I freeze?
Yeah.
What if I freeze on stage and I'm just going to die and turn to ash? Like, that was legit. I'm like, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah. It's like that other, like, you just kicks in, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like, I know exactly what to do.
Totally.
100%.
Yeah. Well, did you want to play our segment, which is my favourite? It's called 1 Minute Theatre Thoughts.
Okay, yep.
Now, this is always interesting when it's with two people because it's like, do we do one for one? Do we do one for one? So I think for this, we'll just go one for one.
Great.
So I'll ask one question, we'll snap it out.
Great,
So they're very much just like generic sort of theatre-based questions.
Yeah.
And it's like the first thing that kind of comes off the top of your head.
Great.
Okay.
Who wants to start?
Okay.
Who's going to go first in like the round?
I think Laura start.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
No worries. All
Why
right.
am I getting nervous?
I don't know. It just went really quiet.
Don't fuck this up. Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. What is your favourite play? And it can't be The Culture.
Detroit. Yes.
By?
Bloody hell, can't remember the playwright, but it's like two couples and it's very funny and cheeky. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it ends up, I think they burn down the house. So spoiler. Spoilers.
Mina?
Oh, shit. Midsummer Night's Dream. There you go.
Shakespeare.
Who's your theatrical idol?
Audra McDonald. Yes. Musical theatre.
She was in the original King Kong.
Don't know.
The old woman, Coven.
Go.
Come on now. What's her name?
I don't know.
I know her name. My mind's refusing.
Mina, you're the one answering the question.
I know her name. She's old. She's beautiful. Cougar.
Okay.
I would marry her in a heartbeat.
Her.
The woman from Coven.
Great. Okay.
Love
Supreme.
it. Good.
Excellent.
Do you have a favourite musical?
Yes, Les Mis. I've been in 3 productions of Les Mis, but they were all, school. But I love contemporary music theatre, like Dogfight, that sort of thing.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Hairspray.
And last thing is, what area of theatre are you most passionate about?
I can't decide between writing and acting, so I'll just say both.
Yeah, I love writing.
Yeah.
Writing and acting, yeah.
Now, the part I don't like is the producing, but that makes the rest possible. You know what I mean?
Excellent.
Yeah.
And that's the 1 minute theatre thoughts.
Yeah.
It's my favourite part. I like to just see what comes off the top of your heads.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Apparently nothing in me. I'm like,
the woman from Coven.
The woman from Coven.
I'm sure you'll leave here and you go,
That's
we
right.
run back.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll add in the show notes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in to have a chat. It's been awesome, hearing about the show and what's on offer and where you both started as well.
Yeah,
it's really
thanks for
great
having
to hear.
us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, nice to see you guys after so many years.
I know, crazy. Well, The Culture is coming to Flight Path Theatre in Sydney on the 5th to the 20th of May, and you can get your tickets at flightpaththeatre.org.
Yes.
And I'll also post all the other information on the show's description if you're in Melbourne or Hobart.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you to Laura Jackson and Mina Asfour for joining us on today's episode of the podcast. Thank you to Carly Fisher for helping to organise today's episode. The Culture finishes its world tour starting in Hobart from April the 25th to the 29th at the Peacock Theatre, Sydney May 3rd to May 20th at the Flight Path Theatre, and Melbourne June 7th to June 17th at TheatreWorks Explosives Factory. For full information and tickets, check today's show notes. And a massive thank you to our newest Patreon member, Lucy. Thanks for joining the Patreon. This episode was produced by Echidna Audio. Follow them on Instagram at Echidna Audio for all their audio services. Once again, if you enjoyed our podcast, leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts and head to the link in this episode's description for our Instagram account, TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. My name's Justin Clarke, and I'll see you next time here on the Theatre Thoughts Podcast.
Have you ever wondered how your favorite performer actually feels? Well, here's your chance. Welcome to The Quiet Part Out Loud with with me, Bobby Steggert, Broadway actor and now a therapist to a whole host of Broadway creatives. Part interview, part therapy, this is not your typical podcast. We'll go right to the heart of things with some of your favorite artists, what they still struggle with, what lessons they've learned, what they haven't figured out yet. There's enormous power in saying the quiet part out loud. Are you listening?
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.